Hello, my name is Brother Sean, and the subject for this short video is about spiritual vampires. Good golly gosh, spiritual vampires. Are you a spiritual vampire? Well, let me share with you, when I first went self-employed, 13 years ago as a therapist, I used to do the Mind, Body, Spirit fairs or events around the country and abroad. And I was at one in Ireland in Ballsbridge on the St. Paddy's Day weekend, and it was heaving. There was barely enough space to breathe, or as they say in Ireland, scratch yourself. But let me share with you, people were coming up to us from other stalls and saying, how come everybody's coming to you? Well, I don't know and I can't answer that, but we were sharing with others how to create an angel peace garden using the divine blueprint the angelic realm gave to me in December 1999. It's a sacred tool combining colour, the colour of the Archangel Princes, and combining them with the essence of flowers, herbs, and all that you would find in a healing garden, and marrying them together in accordance with this blueprint. And it allows you, it empowers you self-heal. So we had various images of the archangels, and we had lots of CDs and books that I'd done. And there were people there and they really sucked us dry. We did it for 2 days and it took me over a week to recover. And I was really a beginner in those days. I didn't have a greater understanding of how people on the spiritual path can be so demanding, especially the vampires. And that's when someone said to me, be on your guard for the vampires. And I thought, oh, you're being silly. Well, I'll tell you, I met lots of spiritual vampires. A spiritual vampire is an individual who is on the run, not from the police, but from themselves. They'll go on all the courses, they'll buy into labels and status, they'll travel the world, they'll spend a fortune attending all the seminars to do with spiritual healing. But rather than face their greatest fear, they go to everybody and they pour out their heart. And they really do give you the impression that they're wallowing a lot in their own stuff. They reminded me of the ostrich with their head in the sand. They are not willing to self-heal. But they drain you of whatever energy you have, however well you protect yourself. You can do all the incensing and call on all the archangels, and you will be given protection. But they have an uncanny way of piercing your boundary. They're subtle, they're deceitful, they're selfish, and somewhat narcissistic. Now that sounds a real judgment, but it's the truth. And if you're a therapist or a healer starting off and you want to sell your wares or get recognized at these events, the first thing I would tell you, don't do it. Because the universe will bring to you those who need your services. And that's trust. But again, you meet so many beautiful light workers. Well, they call themselves light workers. The only light they're interested in is their own light, their ego. They bombard you with science. They have all the rationale and evidence-based information that you would need to back up their product. But their hearts are in crisis. Their lives are in crisis. They're on the run from daring to face their true self. And it's fear. The underlying cause is fear. But fear is an illusion. On one of my CDs, Embracing Your Inner Essence, and there's another one, Your Inner Wounded Child, I was guided to share tools that I was given to empower another self-heal. And they're all on my website, Sean-Bradley.com. But you know, I'm not here to sell my wares. I'm here to ask you, is there a distinct possibility that you could be a vampire, a spiritual vampire, on the run, afraid to look at yourself, afraid to sit in silence and stillness, and to ask Gaia, the Supreme, whoever your spiritual teachers are, who am I? Why am I here? What's my life purpose? So many can't answer that. But they'll give you all the advice like I did as a nurse. I was great at giving people advice on how to get well. But when it came to me, I was useless. Because I was running away too. So I can recognize it now in other people. Because I've had to spend a lot of time self-healing. Because of a lot of baggage from childhood. But if you're not a vampire, spiritual vampire, but you come into touch with those who are, I'm not giving you advice, but I would share this. First, pray. Ask the divine to guide you. Ask the divine to protect you. And there's no point selling sand to the Arabs or teaching a dog new tricks. You can bring a horse to the well, we once said in the monastery, but you can't make it drink. And that's how a lot of people are today. They're stuck. They're stuck in their own woundedness. Interestingly, early this afternoon I had a phone call from a client that I hadn't spoken to on the phone for a good 12 months. But this person used to phone me ad hoc and go on and on and on and on. There was no stopping. I don't know how they even drew a breath. And it was all about them. It was all about how badly they were treated, how they had suffered, and they were wallowing in their suffering. Their suffering and their baggage became a third person that ruled their life. Well, today, when I heard the name, she said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "Of course I remember you." And I wasn't going to say, "Well, how are you?" because that means they're going to start, and I thought, I'll hold back. But they said, "All your advice has come home to roost. And I want to order some of the blessed oils that you sell." But it's taken me 30 years to get a diagnosis of my illness, chronic fatigue. But it's taken me 15 years to pluck up the courage and change my home address. And that's down to you. I have another beautiful client who became a friend, but when I know they're coming, I always disappear. We may not hear from them or see them for months on end, but each time they come, it's the same old story. The place where they've moved to, there's bad energy. The people they've gone out with, bad energy. Everybody is bad energy. They're not at fault, the world is at fault. And what's so tragic, society owes them one. And I just nod, and they said, "Why don't you tell me what to do?" I said, "Because I tried sharing with you 5 years ago. I tried empowering your heart, to take responsibility, but you knew best. And you'll never make the right decision because you're rushing into it. You're not reflecting and you're not praying about it. And you're not asking the divine for help. Oh, but sorry, you are asking, but you're not doing what your heart is guiding you to do. So I just said, you remind me of one of my sisters who's a career woman. If there's a fast train out of town, you're on it to make a quick buck. But you're not willing to face your own fear. Be on your guard. That's all I can say. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you feel in your heart you've let people down. Our role as light workers is to empower another through love, face their fear, but not to run their life for them, and certainly not to rescue them. But please be on your guard, because there are children of God who are like wolves in sheep's clothing. What they say is not who they are. The artifacts they have on their table is not really saying very much about them. Yes, it's a drawing power. If you've got an angel and a lighted candle on your table, it draws a lot of people. But often they have a hidden agenda. And so many people today who do the mind, body, spirit events are fractured, wounded souls. And the driving force is the dollar, the euro or sterling. You've seen them, I've seen them. And at the end of the day, you're not going to like this, but I have to speak the truth. Unless you are a person of integrity and prayer, whatever advice you give will be shallow. Too many people today are talking the walk, and very few are walking the talk. Which one are you? Take heart and remember, you are a child of God. And you don't need to spend a fortune on self-help, because all you have to do is ask, and you will be given the truth. Ask the angelic realm, the messengers of God, to speak to your heart. And that way, you protect yourself each day. Be still in the presence of God and know you are loved. And keep well away from anybody or any event that will make you compromise who you are. Don't put temptation your way. Bless you. Thank you for listening to an old monk ranting and raving. But remember, you are worth it. You are worthy of more than this. You are a child of God. Namaste.